Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I got this blue eyeshadow look. If you want to see how I did it, just keep on watching. So this is going to be a try-on slash review of the Blue Moon palette from Colourpop. And yeah, so this is what it looks like right here. This is the unit carton that it came in. And then it's a plastic kind of palette, 9 shadows. And this is what the inside looks like. And starting off, I'm going in with the shade Starry Eyed, and I'm going to be using that on a Wet n Wild blending brush, and I'm just running that into my crease. I just recently filmed my very first not my very first, a non-voiceover video. I'm going to see if the audio's decent enough for me to actually post it, because I want to be able to start doing non-voiceover videos for you, because I feel like people don't like voiceovers as much. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I have a feeling that's kind of like something that people don't like as often. And I'm also putting that on the outer third of my eyelid. And then I'm going to be using a flatter eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to be running this on my lower lash line. Not a flatter, not a different brush. My bad. I'm using the same blending brush because I do tend to bring my eyeshadow pretty low on my lower lash line. And then I'm going to be going into this shade. It's kind of like a sky blue type shade, I guess. Yeah, we're going to say sky blue, even though it's like, I don't know, is it? And then I'm running that into the crease of my eye as well, just making sure I don't bring it up as high as that first shade, making sure that they're nice and blended into each other. But yeah, if that video ends up being okay quality, I might start doing that from now on. I might have to buy like a better mic to do that. I'm not really big on technology. Like, I don't know what's good or what's worth, I'll have to do some research into that. But then I also put that on the outer third of my eye, and then I do bring this on my lower lash line. This time I did use a flat eyeshadow brush, and I made sure it was closer to my lower lashes and only about um, halfway in that I dragged it in. And then just using some concealer, I'm using that to cut my lid. I'm doing a half cut crease look, so I only bring it from the inner corner of my eye about 2/3 of the way out, and then I make sure it's nice and blended into the shadows by just using my finger to tap out the harsh line of the concealer. And I always speed up this part because I always like go fairly slow doing it, because I'm quite meticulous in wanting it to be nice and straight and rounded in the proper places. And as you can see, I keep looking and um, getting closer to the mirror to kind of see if it's all even. And then after I do that, I normally do set it with a powder close to my skin tone, but I never really show it just because, I mean, it seems rather dull. And then I'm using this, it's like a frosty white shade, but it has a slight blue reflect to it. And I'm packing that on the inner corner and then bringing it about half of the way onto my lid. And yeah, I recently dyed my hair using Arctic Fox because so many people say that's such a nice hair dye. And I've washed my hair once since I've dyed it, and it has faded so dramatically. I'm like completely shocked. I never have had a dye fade so drastically fast after one wash. And I normally wash my hair with cold water too, and sulfate and paraben free shampoo. Sorry, and then I took that like kind of like slate blue shade that's a shimmer, and I'm just tapping that in the very bare portion from that icy shimmery shade to the shadows on the outer corner of my eye, and I make sure everything is nice and blended. But yeah, I am like super shocked that my hair is faded so fast. And then I'm taking this really dark navy blue, and I'm using a very small defining crease brush, and I'm patting this on the outer corner of my eye, slowly building it up because I didn't want it to be too overpowering and cover up any of that shimmer that I laid down. But yeah, I'm going to be trying out the Lime Crime Unicorn Hair Dye. I've never tried anything from them, and they have, because I kind of was going for peach hair, and it was beautiful. I don't know why it faded so fast, but they do have this shade called Neon Peach, which I'm hoping will actually stick and not fade after one wash. It's a lot brighter than the color combination that I used, so even if it does fade, I'm hoping it doesn't fade quite as fast or as drastically, so that it fades to a nice lighter color like I was kind of going for in the first place. And then I go back in with that shimmer shade, that kind of like blue slate. It's kind of like a blue-gray shimmer. And I just make sure that's nice and blended into that darker blue now. And then I went in with that second blue shade that I had used. And I'm using a very small detail brush. And I'm running that right into my crease where the shimmer meets the matte shades, just to give that a little bit more definition. And what I tend to do is I just place the color down and, with a very light hand, and wiggle it back and forth so that it blends into its same color, because I did put that in my crease. But since this is a smaller, denser brush, it adds a little more pigment when first placed down. And then I just wiggle it back and forth to blend naturally into the shade that I've laid down before, which, I don't know, am I making sense? Probably not. I am so sorry. And then I'm just using that same dark blue, and I'm running it on the outer third of my lower lash line. And then I am using that icy blue shade, and I'm running that on my lower lash line from the inner corner about 2/3 of the way out, making sure it's nice and blended into the matte shades. Sorry if I seem all over the place in this video. I have had a lot on my mind. My husband is going to get his rotator cuff in his shoulder repaired in 2 days, so that's kind of nerve-wracking. And it's just, kind of been on my mind because, I mean, even though it's semi-simple surgery, it's still like a surgery. And then I went in with the It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, and I coated my top lashes. I don't think I coated my bottom lashes this time. But yeah, that's just been kind of on my mind, stressing me out just a little bit, and it's kind of hard to not think of it when it's getting closer and closer and closer. And then I went in with the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer in the shade Ticket to Brazil, using a Wet n Wild fluffy angled face brush, and I'm using that to bronze up my cheekbones and the bridge of my nose. But yeah, a few weeks ago he tore his rotator cuff while working, and so he's been off of work and in pain, and he's going to be getting that repaired, so hopefully everything goes pretty smoothly with that. And then I went to the LA Colors I Heart Makeup contour palette, and I took this shade, and I'm using that to carve out my cheekbones and my jawline using a small contour brush from Luxie. So yeah, after I order that hair dye, which I'm going to be ordering tomorrow, I'm hoping it arrives not only quickly, but that it actually works a lot better. Yeah, I don't know, we'll have to see, but you'll be seeing my hair eventually. If you follow me on TikTok, you'll see it a lot sooner than you do on here, but you will see it eventually if you only watch my videos here. And then I went in with the Wet n Wild blush in the shade Fantastic Plastic Pink. And I'm using the Royal & Langnickel Moto Pro pointed blush brush to apply that to my cheeks. I go pretty heavy-handed with my blush. And I also like to add just a little bit to the very tip of my nose, kind of like in a circular motion, just to add a slight flush of color there to kind of tie it all in. And then I went into the Wet n Wild Make a Glow highlighting powder in the shade Royal Calyx, and I ended up picking up way too much, as you could see my face right there. And I put that on my cheekbones, my cupid's bow, the tip of my nose, and the bridge of my nose. And this has a slight purple sheen to it, which I thought would go well with this look. I just realized I used a bunch of Wet n Wild products for my face, but that was unintentional. I tend to just gravitate toward one brand, so if I do ever post stuff in the description of what I use, it's easier than having to list out a bunch of different brands. And then I went in with the Tarteist lip paint. I forget the shade name of this. So if I ever do update my description boxes, I will let you know what it's called. And I just use that to obviously add color to my lips. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the end of this tutorial. So I guess if you like this video, you could give it a thumbs up. Helps me out. And you can and you can subscribe if you want to, or you don't have to. And I'll see you in my next one.